Good afternoon, I'm Shihab Khan. After months of build-up, the long wait for Eurovision fans is finally nearing its end, with the International Song Contest Grand Final taking place in Liverpool tonight. Millions will be watching the event, but one person you won't hear from is Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, whose request to speak was turned down as it's too political. Andrew Misra has the latest on the build-up, controversy and the growing excitement.
In just 7 hours, the Eurovision final stage will be set in Liverpool. Rehearsals suggest the show will be kicked off by last year's winners, Kalush Orchestra of Ukraine. Their compatriot, Jamala, who won in 2016, is also performing tonight and says the crowd's in for a treat.
I was a few times on different Eurovision, in Stockholm, of course, in Kiev and Netherlands, but this one, it's something. This show is the best one.
Hosting on Ukraine's behalf, the UK will be represented by May Muller.
The rehearsals made everything click. It will be the biggest show that I've ever done, obviously, so it looks great. And yeah, I'm even more, I thought I was pumped before, but now I'm like, we're ready to go.
A notable absentee, though, will be Ukraine's President Zelensky. He'd asked to speak at the final, but the European Broadcasting Union said no on grounds of political impartiality, disappointing some, including Rishi Sunak. Politics will be present, though. Croatia's entry is an anti-war song. The favourite, Sweden's Loreen, has won before. Ukraine's act Tvorchi will be cheered on by displaced Ukrainians in their new home.
Ukrainian symbols are everywhere, and we feel that we are a part of everything.
160 million viewers can get involved too by voting to decide who takes home the 67th Eurovision crown. Andrew Mesra, ITV News.
And good luck to May this evening. Eurovision fans travelling to the event in Liverpool have had to contend with another day of rail strikes. The RMT union denies targeting the song contest, and the misery is spread across the country. Sangeeta Lau is at London's Euston Station this lunchtime. Sangeeta, another difficult weekend for travellers.
Yeah, it really is. And there's been disruption for almost a year now, with strikes today particularly affecting people hoping to get to Liverpool for the Eurovision. Strikes, which the Transport Secretary has said are cynically targeting the final. But today, the RMT Union's General Secretary, Mick Lynch, said that the strike action has fallen today because it's the last day they're able to strike without having to reballot members.
If we hadn't struck today, we couldn't have struck on the previous mandate. So that's the laws that the Tory government have put through to run industrial disputes. So we had no choice about today. We didn't pick Eurovision or any football matches or any events, and we never do. It's just the days that the legislation allows us to take.
Well, he's now calling for a special summit to tackle, in his words, chaos in the industry, and there is potentially more to come, with the train drivers' union ASLEV due to go on strike later this month. But there is hope for people hoping to get to Liverpool this weekend. National Express says it's putting on 33 extra services, particularly helping those trying to travel for the Eurovision. And also Merseyrail, which actually isn't impacted by strike action, says it's going to put on extra late night services to help those who may get to the Eurovision Song Contest final tonight.
Sangeeta, thank you. Priti Patel is expected to accuse the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak of presiding over the managed decline of the Conservative Party in a speech today. The former Home Secretary is one of the speakers at the launch of the Conservative Democratic Organisation, whose aim is to give more power to party members. It comes after the Tories lost more than 1,000 councillors at last Thursday's local elections. An 81-year-old woman is reported to be in a coma in hospital after being hit by a motorcycle escort for Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Helen Holland was injured during the motorcade on Wednesday. The Duchess has said she is praying for her. And self-testing kits for hepatitis C are being made available from the NHS in England. The free confidential service is designed to reach people like drug addicts who may not access healthcare directly. And finally, the oldest known wild lion in the world has been killed in Africa. A local conservation charity says Lunkito was speared to death after he was caught preying on livestock in a village in southern Kenya. The charity says a drought has made wild prey scarce. Jay Akbar has more.
Kenya and the world has said goodbye to a king among lions. Lunkito, one of the oldest lions on Earth, was killed in southern Kenya. While most lions in the wild live until 13, Lunkito made it to 19.
Lunkito. He is the oldest living male lion in the entire Amboseli ecosystem.
Conservation group Lion Guardians have been monitoring his health and movements for years. They say he was speared to death by a herder while preying on livestock on the borders of Amboseli National Park. Despite their devastation, they hope his legacy can be a positive one. In a statement, they said, "A decade ago, we did not have lions surviving past age 10 in this landscape. That Lunkito and other older lions exist in the wild today is due to the efforts of many, primarily the communities who bear the burden of sharing land with lions." Lunkito had wandered into a village desperate for food, and while conservationists agree the herder was put in an impossible position, they're calling for better protection to avoid losing another legend. Jay Akbar, ITV News.
And that is all for now. The weather forecast is next. We'll be back later this evening. And until then, have a great afternoon.